Hello everybody. I just wanted to make a quick little note before the video begins. This video isn't entirely original. It takes a lot of inspiration from Dragon Lover August. They do videos similar to this with different characters and killers, along with some Forsaken clips. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, I will have their channel linked in the description down below. Along with to enable captions, since I will not be speaking during this video, it will allow me to share my thought process and reasons as to what I am doing. So, without further ado, please enjoy the video.
Okay, go stupid. Go crazy. Go stupid.
won't be getting away. You're mine! You're mine. Don't move. What? You tired? Simple and clean, boys.